Baby, what you telling me? See me, I'm with the gang, lazima hustle.
Wagwan, beautiful people. Welcome to another episode of Just to Kick It is a Blessing with your host Keith Tupa Gatiramu. Going forward, I will start hosting this podcast with a good friend of mine known as Kwami Setutsi, aka Kwami Kwams. So I'll let him introduce himself or say hi to you.
Hello, everybody. As you all know, my name is Kwami, and I've decided to join Tupac on this podcast and just share the little knowledge I have on life with you all, and
So today's episode is titled Mental Health. It's a really sensitive topic, and therefore I've always shied away from talking about it. But due to the events that have happened in the past 2 weeks or so, I think it's about time, we talk about it. So a lot of people don't know this, but Kwame and I have the same tattoo. I don't even know if he knows what it reads. You know what the...
Obviously, why would I get a tattoo that I don't know what?
No, what it reads. Okay, what does it read?
Well, I don't know it's offhand, but I have it on notes. But it's,
Even...
But anyways, tell us Tupac what our tattoo says. Then you copied me by the way, but it's okay.
Yeah, I know I did. I copied you, man. Bro, you got yours way before me.
How do you copy someone on a tattoo?
Bro, it's because of the meaning. But anyways, it says... there's always sunshine after the rain. There's always light after the dark. There's always a smile after the tears. There's always happiness after the pain. There's always laughter after the cries. There's always tomorrow after yesterday. And there's always forever after today. So yes, wow. I copied you like you said.
Wow, deep.
But yeah, I wanted to ask, is there a reason you got that tattoo?
So basically the reason I got the tattoo is because just to keep going on in life, and just as a message to just always remind me that no matter what you're going through now, tomorrow is always gonna be a better day, and just smile and just carry on. Like you don't have to go. I know it's not gonna be. And I also have another tattoo that says, "For as long as there's life, there's hope." And another one that says, "No situation is permanent." So whatever you're going through, it's not permanent, whether good or bad, but mostly bad. There's always a better day, and always a reason to keep smiling and looking forward.
Wow. I didn't even know about the other ones, but yeah, that's crazy, man.
Oh, what a great friend you are.
But honestly, even for me, why I got them was the same. Like when you go through a dark period, like there's always going to be light, just persevere, and also I read something that says God gives some of the toughest battles to his toughest soldiers or something like that, Yeah. Talking of something I read the other day, I read a tweet that says our generation grew up listening to music that talked about selling drugs. The new generation is growing up listening to music that talks about using drugs. And they talk about using drugs as an escape from something. What effect do you think this has on people's mental health?
To be honest, I think drugs and alcohol have a very negative effects on people's mental health. In the sense that when you're high or drunk, like you forget about everything that you're dealing with. You forget about whatever problems, just like a mask, And if you're not strong enough to deal with the repercussions when you're off of whatever, like when now you're not high or drunk, then a lot of people just come crashing down. And it's like because you want, and then you keep on wanting to do drugs and alcohol because you want to get that high and forget about all the pain or anything. So I feel like it's a mask for people to like deal and handle with their issues, but I don't think it's a good way to do it because just when you're high and you're drunk and you're even people who surround themselves with people constantly, you don't actually deal with your problems. So now when you're actually alone and there's no drugs or alcohol around you, you're not able to cope with the reality, which is unfortunate.
It's a temporary solution. That's the thing that people like fail to understand, that as soon as the high or whatever you're searching for ends, you still go back into that state of mind that that you're running away from.
Yeah.
But I know, like, this is the next question's a bit personal and everything, but like, have you ever struggled with a mental health issue or a period of time you've completely felt low, and when you struggled with it, what did you do to overcome those feelings? Because I know personally for me, when I used to be extremely low, I'd walk from my house to Arena 1 or Light Academy and then play ball. Like, even if there was no one I knew playing ball, I'd like go and search for people who would be playing football or something. And sometimes, I'd be told, no, sorry, we're full, and it didn't even make you feel more bad. But then I feel like walking there, would clear my mind and everything. So, like, for you, like, what do you do?
Okay, so mine is yes.
I
Now
mean, you get piercings and tattoos.
Fool. Now, for me, even I would say the time that I suffered kind of the most from any mental health, I wouldn't say, I don't know if I would call it depression or just sadness, was like, for example, like when my dad passed, like, because I didn't deal with it initially. So at the beginning, I just tried to be around people and not think about it, not talk about it. But then I started now, eventually, like when it actually hit me, like I actually started getting very, very stressed and very sad. Also because, like a lot of the time when your father passes on as like the elder sibling, or, you have that responsibility to, just carry the legacy forward and, just take care of the family, because now I have my mom, my brother, just take care of them and just make sure everyone is okay. Just, become the man of the house. So at a point that really got to me. But for me, as like similar to you, what you said you do, for me, what I used to do is now just like do things to keep my mind busy, because, just sitting in the house and just thinking about it, and, that doesn't really help you deal with it. But I used to do things to take my off, like, when I'm stressed, for example, like when I was stressed, I'll maybe play the piano or, go for walks, go play football, just do things to open your mind and, that you can still think about rationally. So now, as opposed to, like, let's say if I said I would just get drunk, maybe I'll get drunk, yes, and forget about, when I'm drunk, I've forgotten. Then when I'm sober, I remember all the pain I'm feeling. But now just do things to just help take away the stress and, just free up your mind. I used to like play football, go for walks, and just actually think about it, but like in a setting where I have maybe fresh air, or, my mind is just not solely focusing on that,
Yeah, I get what you're saying, man. And I wanted to ask, like, what do you think the problem is with like us men or boys? When you look at some of the stats, like not just here in Africa but worldwide, it seems that more men or boys are committing suicide. Do you think that it's because of the fact we don't talk about it, which like we end up carrying burdens because we don't talk about this kind of things?
Yeah, that's very true. As men, people always, or society always assumes that you should be tough and just stick it up and just deal with whatever you're facing, and like just move on, and like as a man, you shouldn't be seen crying or you shouldn't be emotional. But in my honest opinion, that's like nonsense. That's not what that's not how it should be. Like, as a man, yes, you should be tough, yes, that's fine, but then you should also be emotional. You have to be in touch with your emotional side and just deal with your emotions, because yes, as a man, there's a lot of pressure, but yeah, as men, I feel like we should be able to come to terms with the fact that yes, we are men and we should be strong, but at the end of the day, we still are allowed to go through emotions and cry and all of that, and just be able to like deal with it and speak about it. There shouldn't be like that stigma that men shouldn't do XYZ.
But you also think as men we really have shallow conversation, because if you look at it, when girls go through things, then they'll go to the friend's house, they'll sit, they'll cry with tissues. Like, no, not to be like
Yeah, no, but it's
biased
true.
or
It's true.
anything. Yeah, but then like us men, we have very shallow conversations. You know, our conversations surround plans, who are trying to cook, or those kind of things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true. We do. We have shallow conversations, and maybe the most serious conversations we have is maybe, let's say we're trying to do business together, but we should have that we should create an environment and relationships where we're able to talk to our friends about what we're going through, and even like, for example, even this like last 2 weeks, 2 weekends, like I've been with some friends, and now when they get drunk, now they open up and they tell me, oh, I'm going through this, I'm going through that. And sometimes I don't even know what to say, but sometimes you just need someone to listen, and like, believe you me, like when I've listened to them and given the little input I have, even the following days after, I've seen that maybe, there's been a change, and they're feeling like more relieved, just getting that off your chest. Maybe I may not provide a solution, that immediate solution to whatever problem you have, but that encouragement and, that it really helps. Another thing also, as men, as friends, boys, girls, whatever, we should create an environment with our friends where we can openly speak about our problems with no fear of judgment, and also the person I'm confiding in with shouldn't go and tell other people my problems, because that's another problem. People, you open up and tell someone or people your problems, then they, in some cases, start telling other people, and everyone knows your business. So now you're not even dealing with the initial problem, you're dealing with more issues. So I think we should just be more accountable friends, and you know what I'm saying.
And I get what you're saying, because like one of the things you said is creating like a conducive environment for our friends to talk about it, and which means if I talk to you about something, that it'll remain between us two, because like in my opinion, I also feel like we don't create conducive environments for our friends to talk. And I'll give you an example. Yeah, let's say if I was struggling with my sexuality, but the conversations my friends are having around people that are like, my friends are homophobic, let's say that. And to make it worse, my parents are strong Christians, like it brings, or it creates a scenario where there's no one I can talk to about, what I'm going through. And, like the more I hold on to that, it, it eventually consumes me. So I also feel like we should, like, especially in the generation that we are growing in, we should start being very open-minded and thinking, think before we talk, because you don't know what conversation you'll have, that will affect
someone.
like,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, someone else, man.
That's very true. That's very true. Because especially even the thing like even spoken about, like even sexuality, even back to as men, like if anything happens, I'd be like, that's gay, or. But in reality, that shouldn't be the case, and I should be able to even have a friend who can openly come to me and be like, oh, by the way, I'm battling with this. Because even always ask my friends, if I told you I was gay today, what would you do? And guys always tell me, hey, there's a way we can't be friends anymore, like, and I'm always like, what? So like just a small thing like that would stop you from being, my friend, So now imagine if I was
actually
gay. I'm not, but imagine who would I even be able to talk to,
Yeah, and it makes so much sense, because even me, I've had the same, I've had the same conversation where I've asked people, like, yo, if I was gay, what would you do? And I get like, tricky there, bro. But and it's like another one is like, yo, what effect do you think that social media is having on our mental health? So I know we always talk about social media and everything. So like, what effect do you think social media is having on our mental health? I think it's a blessing and a curse for our generation. So yeah.
Yeah, even we spoke about this on the last how social media brings about like so many pressures. You're seeing people are living a certain type of way, or having some form of fun, or have this, have that, and now we also want to get to that, to live that life, get to that level or whatever. And as I said last time, a lot of people, whatever they're showing on social media is not theirs or not their reality. now you see that's they're seeing posing it as a reality. Maybe they're also battling with mental health issues or just just battling with something to try and prove themselves to the world. But yeah, so I feel like social media has a very negative effect to that extent, but it could also be positive,
Yeah. A lot of business has been created through social media. A lot of companies has grown, But like
even like for my business, that's the main form of marketing and advertisement, and also for my personal life. It's also social media is fun in the sense that it's interesting. You get to see, you just get to share your life and see what other people are doing and all that. But I always feel like you shouldn't. Life is a journey, not a race. You shouldn't see what other people are up to and let that eat your head and want to be there or whatever.
But I was looking at something the other day that said comparison is the thief of joy, and that's what social media has made us start doing. We compare our lives, You end up feeling that you're not handsome enough, or you're not beautiful enough, or you're not, it's making people feel certain ways because of comparison. And the truth is, as long as you compare yourself with someone, you'll always lose. You can only compare yourself to you.
That's true. There's always someone who has more money than you, better house than you, better clothes. That comes now back down to what we were talking about last time, self-love.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta love yourself, and you love you for who you are and everything you have.
Yeah. A lot of people say it's better to cry in a Lamborghini than on a bike. So, what's your opinion on materialistic things and happiness?
That's cap, because a lot of the time you'll even find some people killing themselves, and you look at them and they had everything. They had money, they had cars, they had girls. They had everything that people aspire to have, but they still end up taking their own lives. So materialistic things, in my opinion, then they're not everything, because even, for example, even when I bought, for example, when I bought my motorbike, the first 1 month I was so excited. I wanted to go everywhere, I'm waking up, You remember? As in, who wants me to pick you up? Where do you want to go? Where is the plan? I'm coming, that was that excitement, that joy. But then after some time, you get over it, Yeah. So don't look for joy. Even if you even think about it when you get a new phone. The first few weeks, you want to use it everywhere, You're excited, even a PlayStation, whatever. But then after some time, that joy dies down. And then, it's just like, this is another item. So I feel like you should look for happiness within, and it's a simple thing. Don't look for happiness outside other things. Look for happiness within and find things that you enjoy doing that, will give you happiness and joy. And if you have a sad or upset, depressed, whatever, you can look to those things and they can take you out of that state of mind. Because you see, even if you're sad, depressed, you buy, as we said, you buy a car or whatever, to just take your mind off it for a short while, but it won't.
If you're not really happy, you can't be happy.
Exactly.
Yes, even me remember, man. After I broke a couple iPhones, see, my dad refused to buy me one. So eventually, I worked enough to buy myself one. For the first few weeks, I was happy and everything, but that's where my problem started. Because now I was permanently on social media. And I was doing other things I shouldn't have had to do. But that's a conversation for another day.
Another day.
Yeah. Hey. So sometimes I understand that pain, it becomes okay. Oh no! First of all, before I get even there, there's something people say they don't want to feel like a burden on someone, and that's why they never share concerning their mental health status and everything. What do you feel about that?
I agree with that to a great extent, because to be honest, no one wants to be there. You don't want to be the person who's always going to people, this is what I'm dealing with. Because also as I had said, a lot of our relationships or friendships, there's no conducive environment to speak, so people would just be like, Kwami is coming again to complain, So, yes, you wouldn't want to be a burden, but then that's what I would say. If you are able to, get, even get a counselor, a mentor, just someone who, won't judge you. And, even in your friendship groups, there's people who are there, ride or die, like they're there through whatever, and they won't judge, anything, like regardless of whatever you're going through. So I'd say just get, such people and just hang around with positive people. And also, some things I've realized in life, you don't always have to speak about them to people. Maybe some people, that's their way of relieving the stress or whatever. But now back to what I was saying earlier on, like even with me, what I do, I don't speak to people about my problems, but what I would do is I just do things to keep my mind busy and kind of take my mind off them and help me slowly deal with them. So just get a hobby, get something you're passionate about, and, just do it to take your mind off it. And like if you have a hobby or just walk, fresh air, whatever, to a great extent, it helps in the sense that, your mind is taken off it and, you're just not like feeling like the weight of the world is on your shoulders, so just find something you love. And,
But like, you said, like, there's always that like one ride or die person, like even for me, like I have someone that like when I was going out through those tough times, I'd tell them everything and then I'd divide the rest with like 3 or 4 people. So in like some sort of a way, I really never felt like a burden to anyone, but I always say like, the biggest burden is the one you leave people with if, you ever did anything to, like, hurt yourself,
Yeah.
Because you see, what you're going through right now, there's highly a chance it can be solved. But once you cross that other line, there's no coming back,
Yeah, for sure. And, rest in peace to all the people who've taken their lives. But in my opinion, I don't think that's ever the solution because, yes, maybe you've taken your life away and you're no longer going through whatever pain you are going through, but you're leaving behind family, friends, people who will carry that pain forever,
Yeah.
So I don't think it's fair, to do that to people. But yeah, so to avoid that, I would say our parents, if there's any parents who listen to this podcast, I would say just get more involved in your children's lives with an attitude, a positive attitude. So not judging or, just being against them. Just create an environment where your children are able to talk to you about what they're going through. If, you see that they need help, so if as a parent, you should get involved in your child's life in a sense that you can even tell that they need help even before, they tell you, there should be a conducive environment where you can see you're going through something. Can you speak about it? If they don't want to speak about it, try and find a solution. If you can get them someone to speak to,
Like a
so the parents also play a very important role.
Yeah, I always say, in fact, your first friends should be your parents, But like the way we've grown up in like an African household, sometimes we're not like friends to like our parents and vice versa, Because I remember when I was in the UK, the things my auntie and my cousin would talk about, it was crazy, Like those guys were having friendly conversations. They're not having a parent and child conversation. And I think that's what like inspired also like my brothers and I to start having certain conversations, with our parents,
Yeah.
Yeah. So like someone once said, the reason why we become depressed always comes down to the consistency of the thoughts we think and the consistent beliefs we hold. So you see, I think, especially because of social media, I think we're holding such negative thoughts about ourselves that, we're falling into this trap that none of us seems to understand or get out from. Anyways, the podcast is coming to an end. So, what's the last piece of advice you have to tell the people?
The last piece of advice, I'll say, even like this tattoo, I feel like the message like hits hard, and it's it's a very strong message for anyone who's going through anything, and just a motivator. So I'll read it for one more time. It says, "There's always sunshine after the rain. There's always happiness after the pain. There's always a smile after the tears. There's always light after the dark. There's always laughter after the cries. There's always tomorrow after yesterday, and there's always forever after today." So I would say that's my parting shot. Like, no matter what you're going through, like, you can get through it. Like, no situation in this life is permanent. You can actually, honestly, get through it. And for as long as there's life, as long as you wake up in the morning, you're breathing, you have maybe food, shelter, the basic things, whatever, even if or whatever, as long as you have life, just be grateful and just know that there's so many other people who would love to be in your position. Whatever you're going through could be worse. So just carry that forward and, let that push you to, just achieve and strive to be the best version of yourself. Everything is possible.
On my part, what I'd like to say is, when you're driving and you see a car with a baby on board sticker, you tend to be careful or approach that car with caution. So what I'd suggest is we need to learn to treat everyone as if they have that kind of sticker on them. So when you're approaching someone, or if you're approaching someone, man, treat them with kindness. You never know what kind of battle someone is fighting. And then also I'd like to say, every day when you wake up, man, just even before you look at your phone, which I know most of us do, just say 5 things that you're grateful for, and you'll see your day becoming much better. You'll end up becoming much happier because you learn to treasure, the small things. Anyways, thank you so much for listening. I hope you've learned at least one thing and sending love and light your way. God bless you. Kwami, what do you have to say?
Have a good week or weekend, and God bless you all. Much love.
You see fakes and I see through. You get pesa, yeah, me too. Lights in my room blue. Mimi pimp, I pimp my room. I pimp your chick too. Oh boy, you look like crystals. Police see that's an issue. Baby, what you telling me? See me, I'm with the gang, lazima hustle. Yeah. Now bado demons chasing me. Bado, I'm still deep.